Good morning, beautiful people. It's good to talk to you on this Digital Friday. Today what we're going to talk about is zippers, because we are going to insert a zipper into our duffel bag. And so we're just going to kind of go over some of the parts of a zipper, and then I'm going to show you the 6 different ways that it can be inserted into articles of clothing and things like purses or bags. So first, all zippers have a pull tab or a slider. It's how you open and close the zipper. They all have teeth. Now, the teeth can be made out of metal, like this one on the top, or they can be made out of plastic. Now, when you go to purchase zippers, you need to purchase the zipper for the article of clothing or the bag that you have in mind, because they're not all created equal. Like this one at the top is used for things like Levi or denim, because you need kind of a stronger zipper. So those are kind of thicker fabrics, so you need stronger teeth so it doesn't pull away from the fabric. And basically, you want it to hold up your pants. All right, this one is for like kind of more delicate articles of clothing, like a dress or a skirt. And then this one down here with the kind of wider teeth with the little ball on the end, those are for jackets, so that it really stays secure and keeps you warm. Now, all zippers, whether they're made of metal or plastic, has tape on each side of it. And the tape is just different kinds of fabric. All right, at the top of the zipper, there's going to be 2 pieces of metal or plastic, and it's called the top spot or the top stop. That's where the zipper stops. And then at the bottom, we have a bottom stop, and that's where the zipper will not go down any further. If you're using a zipper that opens all the way, we call that a jacket or a separating zipper. And so it has a retaining box. The box is bigger, and it has a longer piece on this end where we call it the insert pin, so that you can put it in the retaining box and then zip it up. So this one's going to completely open up, whereas this one stays closed. Now, if you buy a zipper that's too long, you can go ahead and shorten it by just taking a hand needle and some thread and going back and forth over this to create your own bottom stop, and then you just cut it off. So for class, I usually buy really long zippers, and then we just kind of lengthen them or shorten them to where we need them to go just by making our own bottom stop. And the thread works. If you do it 5 or 6 times, it works perfectly. All right, so the first way you can insert a zipper is called the centered zipper. And this zipper just follows the seam. Typically, it's in the back of like a dress or a skirt. And it is going to have equal parts of the seam allowance covering the zipper teeth. And then what you do is you top stitch around the edge to keep it. So the top stitching can be a decorative element, but mainly it's there just to secure it so that it doesn't come open. All right, here it is on an actual garment. You can see that there's equal amounts of fabric on both sides, and then there's top stitching around it. The second one is a lapped zipper. So this one is usually done on skirts, pants, and it could be on dresses. If it's on a skirt or a pant, it's usually because it's on the side, it's not in the back. And if you look, it's not centered. So there's one side of the fabric that laps over, and then it's sewn really close to the teeth on the other side. Whereas if it was centered, it'd be equal amounts all the way down. So here's kind of a better picture or a close-up picture of what it looks like. The one side is sewn really close to those teeth, and then there's extra fabric on the other side. And so that's why we call it a lapped zipper. The third type is a fly, probably the one we're the most familiar with because it's in our jeans. All right, it could also be on some skirts though. But this is what the pattern looks like when you go to cut out a pattern for jeans or pants or like Dockers. It looks kind of weird, but there's an area you fold over, and then your pattern always has a top stitching guide where you top stitch. When you're sewing women's clothing, the fly part laps right over left, and for men it laps left over right. So it does switch for men's or women's clothing. So if you do happen to wear men's pants, because those are like boyfriend jeans, it zips up the opposite way or the laps over. So one of the things that fly zippers are known for is that decorative top stitching to kind of like help the fly stay in place. All right, an exposed zipper. So an exposed zipper is sewn on the outside of the garment. So it kind of becomes a decorative feature in the garment because you want to see that zipper. You're not trying to hide it at all. So for this one, you actually turn the seam allowances to the right side. Usually when we sew, seam allowances are always hidden, but when you're doing an exposed zipper, you want them on the right side, and then you top stitch the zipper over that seam allowance to cover the raw edge of the seam allowance. So you can see that you could do it so that it completely blends in with your fabric, or you could do an even more decorative feature and use a contrasting zipper tape so that you can see it. But that's an exposed zipper. All right, the next one is an invisible zipper, and I'm going to be honest, these are the hardest to insert and make look nice. All right, just because you don't have any top stitching on there. You want it to basically be invisible. All you should be able to see is the pull tab, and it can be hard to get that in there and have it look nice. Typically, you'll see invisible zippers on really soft or finer fabrics like rayon or silk or a thinner polyester. It's kind of like more for fancy type dresses. Sometimes skirts, but mainly dresses. Now, the invisible zipper does look different. So the tape completely covers it so that you don't see it. And then there's just the zipper tab in there. So if you're buying zippers and you want an invisible zipper, you need to make sure that you look for an invisible zipper because it looks different than a normal zipper because the tape is completely covering it. The last one is a jacket or a separating zipper, and this is where the zipper comes apart for jackets, vests, things like that. So it's kind of sewn on like a centered zipper, but the teeth are exposed so that you can see it. And you can do it so that it matches your fabric, or you can have it contrast like this hoodie shows. All right, so those are the different ways that zippers can be put into clothing. What your assignment is I want you to find examples of zippers on clothing or bags at your house. So try and locate at least 3 of the 5 types. If you can locate all 5, awesome. Take pictures of them, but I'm only requiring you to find 3 because I figured 3 would be easy to find. All right, snap a picture and then copy and paste them onto your Google Slide document, and then make sure you label each one. Is it an invisible? Is it a fly? Is it exposed? Is it a jacket? All right, it shouldn't be too hard. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you all next week. Bye.